Hey everybody, it's Flyin Ryan here, or maybe you should call me Captain Ryan with my Feilun FT009. This is my first ever RC boat, and I had an absolute blast with this thing. Um, I would say this is the perfect beginner's boat because it has this flipped feature where it can self-right. If you flip it over, you can hit reverse and then gas and it'll right itself and keep going. So that was what made me buy this one. There's no concern about having to go out and swim and rescue it or have a rescue boat or whatever. So just really confident in driving it and, not having to worry about that. And even then, I found that, I would go full speed, slam on a turn, full turn, and this thing would take it all. It never flipped itself. I was jumping over my own wakes and just doing anything I wanted with it, and it took it all in stride. It never flipped, it never had a problem. The only time I ever had to write it was when I threw it into the water upside down. So, I mean, there's a product video of this just showing the guys just tossing it out into the water, letting it land however, and then righting itself and taking off. So just really cool. It's really fast for what it is. It's a brushed motor. It's not brushless, but there is a FT012, which is a brushless version, and it's all black, and it just looks really cool. Unfortunately, I got this just in time for winter, pretty much. I've gotten, I think, two times, 2 weekends that I got to go drive it. And now the water is going to be frozen over, so I'm not going to be able to do much until next season. But next season I do plan on getting the brushless version and doing a review of that. But anyway, this is brushed, but it has water cooling. We'll go ahead and open it up here. It's kind of cool. It's got two canopies, so there's quite a bit of water protection. I did get some water in the boat after a couple of runs, but I don't think it was too bad. It was just a little bit of water. But you'll see here you've got all this spiraling around the motor. So I think, where is it? Yeah, I think that's it. So it sucks water in from this little hole, runs it around the motor, and then shoots it out the back here in this tube. So that keeps the motor really cool. I mean, it was pretty cold out. I think it was like 45 degrees when I was out running it, but I was running full throttle pretty much the whole time, and the motor was just barely warm to the touch after the run. So, I think that water cooling works pretty well, especially when it's pretty chilly out. But it's got a full outboard rudder, so actual rudder turning. It's not just using like counter thrust from two motors, and pretty good size prop on it. Though this is my first boat, so I'm no expert by any means, but seems like it's pretty quality for what it is. I think it was like $60, so pretty affordable to get into the boat hobby. Let's look at the battery here. It comes with a 1500 milliamp hour 2S LiPo. So you got a balanced charger there. This is called a mini or micro Tamiya plug. So if you wanted to get a hobby grade plug for it, charger cable, micro or mini Tamiya is what you're looking for. It does come with a wall charger here that charges through the balance port. However, I don't know how well that does at actually balancing it. I did most of my charging with my hobby grade charger, but I did charge it off this a couple times just to get figures, and it takes about 3.5 hours to charge from this wall charger. So a really slow charge. And it just kind of has a red light here that turns on when it's charging, and then it turns green when it's done, but it kind of does that gradually, so it kind of turns orange and yellow, and then you start seeing green a little bit, and it's kind of partly green for quite a while, so that may be when it's doing a really slow balanced charge before it turns solid green. But one thing I did notice after I ran the battery down and I plugged it in the charger, and for the first minute or two, it was actually still the light was still kind of green. I was expecting it to turn like solid red right away. So that kind of worried me for a minute, but as it kind of, caught on and charged for a minute, then it started to turn red. So don't be alarmed by that. The light will turn red and it's charging properly. But however, being a 2S LiPo, I really suggest using a proper hobby grade balanced charger and making sure your cells are properly balanced, and then charging it at a 1C, which for a 1500 milliamp hour would be a 1.5 amp charge, and then it only takes about an hour to charge. And then it also comes with 2 of these little rubber nose cones. I've got one on already, and it comes with an extra one. And so that just kind of helps, you know, protect the nose if you run ashore, bounce off rocks or whatever. This is the transmitter, which is kind of your typical surface vehicle. You've got your left and right turning, and then your go button. And then this does have a reverse, which you can kind of reverse in the water a little bit. You know, if you kind of hit shore, you need to back up a little bit, you can do that. But I think that may be how I ended up getting water in, if you're reversing, as it's shooting water into the back of the boat. So I wouldn't really suggest doing that. The reverse is mostly for, that's how you self-right. So when it flips over, you hit reverse and then slam on the gas. And I think it basically just uses the torque of the motor. So since it turns one way for reverse and then you slam on the gas, the motor turns itself over, and that in turn turns the whole boat over. So I think it just uses torque to do that. So pretty clever, and it works really well. I tested it in the bathtub a few times, and it's worked every single time. It's never once failed to work. So just absolute, you know, just a ton of confidence in driving this thing because of that feature. One other thing I wanted to mention is they do sell this upgraded battery, which they claim is 2800 milliamp hours, which is just a blatant lie. I'm going to just put that right out. That is a lie. First of all, you'll see the stock one is 1500, and if this is 2800, that's nearly twice as much, yet it's only just half an inch longer. Like that immediately does not add up. And then, you know, I was doing run times. For the stock battery run time, I got about 7.5 minutes, which is a pretty nice long run. And with this upgraded battery, I got 9 minutes. So just a little bit longer, yet they claim it's twice as big, which just did not add up. And then that takes 4 hours to charge off the stock charger, where this takes 3.5 hours. So everything is pointing to that this being a lie. And then when I put it on my hobby grade charger and paid attention to how many milliamps it was putting into it, this is actually supposed to be 1800. This is not 2800, it's 1800, which makes a lot more sense. It's just 300 milliamps more than the stock. So I mean, still a decent little upgrade, but do not believe that it is 2800. That is not true at all. But the battery fits in here in the back, and you got a little Velcro strap to lock it down, and the upgraded battery fits just fine as well. There's plenty of room for that to fit in there, and no mod needed or anything. However, I did find that the battery kind of interferes with this back latch here, because you'll see that latch is like right where the battery is. So I found that I had to kind of partly close it. You can kind of angle it here, so you kind of partly get it out of the way of the battery first, and then you can lock it into place. So if you try to put the latch on with it completely forward like that, it's going to hit the battery. So you kind of have to angle it a little bit. Just a little tip I found out if you're having trouble getting your canopy to fit on there. Let's see. It does have lots of stuff to say about this. Sorry for the long commentary here. It has a little safety arming trigger. These little metal contacts here have to be in the water so that they make a contact, and then that's how the motor arms up. So you can plug in the battery and you can bind up the radio on the shore and they'll sync up, but nothing will happen until you actually put the boat in the water, and then it makes the contacts, and then you can operate it. So that's, just a safety feature, so you don't end up chopping your hand up with the prop or whatever. And then one thing I worried about that is, well, if these contacts have to be in there, then when you flip over, what happens? Well, it actually has 2 little contacts on the back top here as well. So when it's flipped over, those are in the water, and you still have operation, and then you can self-right. So no worry about losing connection when you're flipped over. And I think that may be it. Oh, it has pretty good range. I think I got about 200 feet down the shore before it lost control. Yes, that is all I've got to say about it. So I'll go ahead and show you the run footage that I got, and let's check that out. Alright, let's give my first boat a spin, see how I do. Gonna kind of take it slow at first just to get a feel for it. Not bad. Alright, kick it up full speed. Not bad. It's a good little beginner speed, not too fast. A little choppy on the water today too. So. That's pretty cool. I think I need some left trim. Let me get this transmitter opened up and do a little left trim. Oop, that's throttle trim. Don't want to do that. Total boat noob here. Nice. Looks like I can go full speed and hammer the turns and it won't even flip. Nice. This thing's fun. I love how it bounces off the choppy. What is this wake right here in the center? Yeah, there's like a felt like
fish maybe?
What's going on right there?
I'm sorry, I totally what is that?
And I kind of bogged down when I drove through it. Maybe there's some like seaweed or something right under the water there. Oh my god, this thing's cool.
I'm like doing so bad at keeping it in frame.
It's alright.
You have some really awesome shots.
Yeah, I'll just cut back and forth between the footage. We're both inexperienced at what we're doing here. It's kind of trying to make do. This thing's cool though. Oh my gosh. I have no idea how long to expect the battery to last though, so I don't... Oh! Should we test the riding ability? Well, guess I didn't have to. Ooh! Wouldn't work for a second there, it kind of scared me. Like it definitely turns sharper to the right than to the left, probably because of the way that the motor torque is working. Oh my god, this is so cool. It's got a reverse for righting itself. It looks like that's kind of pointless when you're upright. When it flips over, you can just hit reverse and then forward, and it's supposed to right itself, apparently. But so far, I've just been throwing this thing around, and it hasn't flipped over on its own at all. It's pretty stable. That's a full right turn, full left turn. I've got the bigger upgraded battery. I mean, it's not the stock battery, so I've got a little bit longer run time than the stock battery gives. I'm just full throttle this whole time. I still need a little bit of left trim, I think. Give it a little touch more. All right. Oh, let's not break the prop off it. There's no water in there. All right, I want to try to get it upside down. All right, hopefully this works. Yeah, perfect. That's awesome. That was the feature that pretty much made me decide to buy it, is when I knew that it could self-right, because I don't want to go swimming. It's like 45 degrees out today. It's already a little too chilly to be in the water, that's for sure. This is so cool. Oh my gosh, I'm geeking out here. Oh, I hear the motor revving down a little bit, I think. Kind of sounded like it may be getting a little close to dying. I don't know. Man, this thing's got some life in it. Well, anyway, I think that's a pretty long run video. I don't want to end up stranded out in the middle of nowhere with no battery, so we'll go ahead and call it quits there. And that is the run review of my first ever RC boat, the FT009. That was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. Maybe I have to get some more boats here in the future, especially now that I got the nice pond to race at. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Check the video description for price and purchase links, and I'll see you next time. That was freaking cool.
The shots on this are ridiculous.
Oh my god.
You're gonna take forever to edit.
Yeah, well, it's worth it.